Welcome back to Kitefoil Racing in Perth, Australia. This is day 3 of the Nationals 2022. And slightly different wind conditions today. Everybody's turned up for the final day and there is no sea breeze. We've got an offshore wind in the moderate range, so probably back on the 15 metre kites. The course is again the standard windward-leeward, 2 laps. Round the top, split through the bottom gates, 2 laps of that. And then slalom finish right, left and around through the finish line. So everybody getting geared up to head out to this offshore course in some fluky and gusty winds. And here's what we have so far. Despite the order there shown, Zach Pullen is well in front at this point. He has 6 bullets and finishing off yesterday with 3 in a row. Race 10, 11, 12. He smashed it. Hector Paterow with a bunch of seconds there. Looking good points-wise with lots of 1 and 2s. Alex and Scott with a couple of wins and a whole bunch of 2s and 3s and 4s between them. Oscar chasing kind of on his own there, pretty much in 5th. LT, Bree, Phil, Jane in that chase pack. And then the middle order there behind that. And this event brought to you by WA Government, Dodo Industries, Ginfly Max, Aspire, Innate Brewing, and Lottery West. And here's a message from our sponsors. So we head out to the start line here and they already are away. The drone is trying to go and catch up. You can see from this distance even 3 Flysurfer VMGs in the front and Hector splitting them up on that red Ginfly Max boom. I think everyone on 15 metre kites at this point, and we can see already someone tacking away on a VMG. LT Frisbee there on his black kite. Ludo, Oscar, Ant Pillinger, Dan Anderson on the duotone gear. And at the bottom of the screen here, Alex Landau coming to the right of the course. Jane Taylor in pursuit on the red Flymax boom. So, a split course. Early tack from those two. Alex Landau known for his ability to read tricky winds. A bit of a river rat here in Perth. Tends to smash everybody when there's some funky, more difficult conditions to read. And I wonder if he's picked this right. So everybody else has put their tack in and they're going to meet, but look at the angle on Lando there. He is flying upwind and potentially has picked a nice little bit of wind here. Him and Jane will hit that line and head to the middle and we will see where they line up. A couple of the Gin Instinct riders going with them. Good effort, boys. And there goes Lando. Will he cross this fleet? Potentially a really good move. Jane Taylor attacking there as well. And you can see, I think that's going to be Zach. And Hector and Lando is going to shut the gate with starboard rights across the top of these two guys. But they're almost on a collision course. So there you go. Was that tactically good? And Zach pulling in behind Hector there. And smashing his kite. Oh no. And yeah, Hector to leeward. I wonder if that's going to be a protest. And Hector's kite has collapsed the rear part with a bridle interlace there. Zach got away with it with his leading edge impacting. And he's away. Lando is killing them around the top. And then LT Frisbee has ducked in. Is he high enough? He's left himself a lot of work. And Scott has fallen. Scott, and then Jane and Bree chasing in behind. LT pinching. Everybody pinching like crazy. LT sneaks around and Jane's too short. Bree Whitehead moving her kite up. And Jane hits the mark. She's stuck there at the top and Bree sails around. Oh, good contest there. Oh, no. And then Ant has crashed in. Collision at the top mark. Phil going around the outside. Oscar Timms taking evasive action. Well done, mate. And Hector with that interlaced bridle. Oh, no. Oh, it's a bit of a mess. There goes Dan Anderson sailing through, doing a bit of a Bradbury there, riding behind Hector. Good work, mate. And then poor old Oscar got stuck behind. Well done avoiding. Riley or Dan on the halo going through there. And then one of the Gin Instincts, probably Boris. Boris going through. Another cut, that would be Julie Paterow there on the R1. And here's the leaders. Lando, I would assume, still in front with that lead that he took into the top. Zach pulling, jibing behind. Interestingly, they're jibing to the right there. Going to round that gate and head out to the left of the course, which is interesting because Lando seemed to go well on the right. I'm not sure what the thinking is there. But Lando definitely is so good in these conditions. So I'd be following him. He tends to know what he's doing. But I guess on the last lap, they were neck and neck. There really wasn't a huge advantage apart from that when you meet, if you're already on starboard, you have those rights. But then it's harder to pick that top. But Lando picked the lay line beautifully. Some of the other riders not quite getting the lay. And it is deceptive in this offshore wind because you get those lulls. You think you've got your lay line and then you take a little drop as you're coming up. Next minute, you're in pinching hell. Oh, Dan Anderson taking a dive there on the Duotone DOS D-Lab board, I believe, with the Duotone Kappa. Not sure what happened there to Dan. And this is great footage here of Lando. He's going right up the centre of the course. Lando with these has a knack of just finding wind. And I would imagine if he's doing this, he's had a good look at this. But he won't want to double tack here. He's looking for that lay line. He'll be looking over his shoulder here, spotting that top mark. Not sure where Zach is. I think that's Scott Whitehead we can see in the back of the screen there following Lando. Look at the beautiful clear water too. What a gorgeous place we ride in here. It is sensational. Tricky in these offshore conditions though. It looks like that's a good steady breeze on that water and it is not, I assure you. Very tough. So there, I believe that's Zach or Scott behind him there. And Lando flying away. There's Zach. Okay, so Lando, Zach, Scott is the order. Hector back in traffic, having to fight his way through the middle, I would imagine. And here we go, another good battle for second. So, and there's Alti Frisbee on the R1 V4 black with white tip. The two kites still tangled there, unfortunately. And Lando putting on a show. Let's see what he can... And look at the gusts on the water there. See where Lando is at the top right. There's that gusty dark patches and light patches on the water and the little fingers up and down. This is heaven for Lando. This is hell for me and others. But he just has such a huge advantage in these conditions. Zach and Scott pretty evenly paced now. Place 1, 2 and 3. Heading down to the bottom of the course, we can see there on the upwind leg, Phil and Ludo battling in the midfield. Might be a slightly shorter course today. This looks like it could be potentially 0.6 nautical. I think yesterday was 0.7 nautical miles. There we've got one of the halos in the background. And Lando just needs to get his jibes right. Hopefully he's found that lay line properly. And the starboard rounding through that gate. And then the slalom finish. Zach throwing the jibe, Scott, no mistakes, everyone looking good. And this should be our finishing order here. You can see it's quite windy down this bottom part of the course too. I think the further from the land, the stronger. Beautiful scenery in the background there, Woodman's Point. Yeah, wouldn't recommend riding here in these conditions without boat support. This is definitely a bit treacherous. Here comes Lando. He has smashed it by a mile. He will be coasting into the finish. See, Hector in the background seems to have worked his way through the field, so good effort. Lando's gone way past the pin there. He has left the door open here. Hang on a minute. He better get a move on, and there's a bloody safety boat in the way. And Zach gets a perfect rounding coming out thin, and they're in a drag race now. Oh my God. Lando's been caught napping. He was cruising to victory, and now it's on. Who is going to win this? There's nothing in it. Lando's got the angle. Gets it by 1 board length. Oh my God, that was close. Scotty coming in for a comfortable third. And Hector having to fight to get through. He was behind Alti playing catch-up. But watch out, Alti, because Hector is damn quick here. And he'll have another crack at this as well. So these two having a little drag to the finish too, but Alti's comfortably holding that lead and will shut the gate, moving to leeward there to close the door, and gets that one pretty comfortably. So 4th, 5th, and this will be Bree coming in the next group. Bree Whitehead taking the female win. And who have we got next? Should be Phil, James in the water, obviously. Oscar, of course, he has fallen back a little in this one. And we'll just watch these last few come in. There's Dr. Phil coming through. And Jake Tim racing with Boris to the finish. This will be another interesting little drag race too. The slalom's a really nice way to finish these courses. Not for me because my jibing's terrible, but for these guys, they are really enjoying this little bit. Oh, and Phil nearly takes a dive there. Might have hit a bit of weed. Who's going to win this one? Boris. Jake Tim on the Diablo V4. And Boris has gone super wide. Both kites high. Probably getting the back foot in or something. And now they'll lock in and have a little drag race here. But Jake has nailed that jibe nicely. Stayed close to the pin. And got it. And that's the end of the coverage. And another beautiful race at Jervois Bay. And here's another message from the sponsors to close it out. What a great race.